here today with Walter Wegner, who a distinguished World War II veteran, veteran of Korea, and also the Cold War. Mr. Wegner, why don't you explain a little bit about your, I guess, where, I know you came from Whittier, were you born in Whittier?
Born and raised in Whittier.
Maybe you could give me a little short biography, start from there.
Okay, I was born and raised in Whittier. My father was Walt Wegner. I wasn't a senior. We were both Walt Wegners, but he wouldn't give me his middle name, which is Rudolph. Thank goodness for that. But anyway, I was born and raised there in Whittier. And father was a wrestling coach, and he was also a business teacher, accounting and bookkeeping. And over the years, all of the ex-wrestlers from his high school team would come over to the house and so forth. And then as each one went into service, they would send a picture. And in our basement over there in Whittier, we had probably 200 pictures, probably about 100 military pictures, female and male, and about 100 female pictures that girls who graduated that were not in the military. And each one would, it's like a senior picture, they'd sign and stuff. And over the years, these pictures multiplied, and then of course, when the war came on, I turned 17 1 week before Pearl Harbor. And then, so there was a lot of pictures there, and so I would study each picture to see if I physically knew that person, that had seen him. And then I come along this one day, and here's this good-looking young man with a flying suit on, and underneath there said, "Best regard, Pinky Hernandez." And I remembered that. Unfortunately, when my parents moved and sold that house in later years, and so I took all those pictures and to the Whittier High School reunion.
Okay.
And I wasn't able to get to one before the 25th because I was in the service and I was everywhere, 1,000 miles away and so forth. Anyway, on the 25th, I took all those pictures that I had left over and let anybody there that wanted them to take them. And of course, maybe it was even some of the people, it was them.
Okay.
And other people, it was maybe a brother or sister, an uncle, so forth, or someone they knew. And then, unfortunately, Pinky's picture went with those somewhere. So then I went into, I graduated in 42, and 4 of us headed up to Cal for as long as we could. 3 of us got up there. The 4th one didn't make it because his name was Tokyo Hitoka. He was of Japanese ancestry, so he was interned. And then I went into the service in the following spring, got almost a year there at Cal.
At Cal Berkeley, you were up there?
Yeah, and I went into the Army Air Corps Cadet program, and after a year I graduated as a navigator, and as Pinky did, I went on the B-24 training, and then went overseas to the 9th Bomb Squadron, 7th Bomb Group, and as far as I can tell, I got there almost a year after he did.
Okay.
He got there in February of 44.
Right.
I got there in January 45.
Okay.
And he was there for what, about 10, 11 months?
He came, I think his diary says is middle of February is when he came home. That's what he has written on his diary. I'm not exactly sure the date he actually physically left, but...
Yeah, see, the crews there, as indicated here in the literature, during the monsoon season, so about May to August or thereabout, the weather was so bad we couldn't bomb anymore. So we left one squadron, the 436th, there, and then
where was that? Where were you?
Well, that was at Panda.
Okay.
Now, where was Pinky? Do you know?
He was at Panda. Also at Panda. Yes.
Okay, so the 492nd and the 9th were at Panda. The 493rd and the 436th were at the base close by. I don't remember the name, Anagar or something like that. And so the thing is that I
think was it Madaganj? Was that it? There's so many. Yeah.
That doesn't make the difference.
Yeah.
But anyway, so when we moved up to Assam, we moved up to Tezport, until we get closer to China, and we would ferry gasoline over the hump to China as the Pinky here. And then and of course we took a smaller crew over the hump, pilot, co-pilot, navigator, engineer, and radio operator, and sometimes the crew chief. And so those people got more combat time in than the bombardiers and other gunners. And the bombardiers would sometimes go across to get flying time, so they had a little more time on their hands. So what that happened, when it came time to rotate, only half the crew had enough points, they call it. That's the number of months you've been there, the wards, etc., to go home. So basically the crew split at that point. And so we, in my case, our crew finished, I had 51 missions, and we finished up in about late July of 1945. And we were waiting rotation to go home, to go, obviously, to go into B-29s and go to the Pacific Theater. And then one day there, somebody said, hey, they dropped an atomic bomb on Japan. And I said, what in God's name is an atomic bomb? We don't know. And it's a couple of days later, they dropped another atomic. Hot dog. You know, that's really great.
Yeah.
You know, then a few days later, the war was over. So,
Wow.
so there we were. And so they took the high point crews and they said, pick an airplane, spruce it up, and you can fly it all the way back home again.
Oh, really?
Basically, we went home about the same way the Pinky came over, roughly speaking. And only we went across North Africa. And so we did that, and the bombardier and the gunners that didn't have enough time had to go home by boat.
Oh, that's how it worked. Okay, okay.
But going back by boat was, I'm sure, a lot more pleasant than going over by boat.
Oh yeah, yeah. You've got that little better spirits, I imagine. But probably now.
But basically, that's my involvement.
Now, can I ask you?
Did Pinky go to any of the 7 bomb group reunions?
I don't think so. He never told me anything about that. I don't know that, other than keeping in touch with his pilot, Don Tennant, and I think Jack Conrad, and Bernie Pearson, who was a navigator in the 10th Air Force. When they flew together, he got to know him during that part of the monsoon season.
What?
He lives in Stockton. And he visited him at least once, because I talked to Bernie, and he says that he remembered when my uncle was going to school up north. On the way up there one time, he stopped to see him, but it was just that one time that I'm aware of. I don't know if it's because he didn't have any interest or lost the contact information, because I know that he would speak about his pilot, saying, I wish I would have kept in touch with him. I don't know where he is. Because I think he lived in Hawaii. His pilot had gone to Hawaii as an airline pilot. Ended up living back in New Mexico, and that's where he died. And I spoke with his wife, this Don Tennant's wife, after the man passed away, and said that he had lost touch with my grandfather, and it was kind of sad because he enjoyed the.
See, our crew and Nixon's crew, we trained together at March Field and went overseas together, and came home together. Each flew an airplane. And so in 1978 we had our first crew reunion.
Okay.
And fortunately all 10 of us survived the war. And then, so we had 9 of the 10 at the Air Museum in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh yeah.
And then the following year we had another crew reunion. And then from then on we joined the 7th Bomb Group reunion. And they had Penny, will you get
That's all right.
What? Spam? What? Stay call, Penny. And of course, the nice thing about the 7 Bomb Group reunion, each 2 years we would contact people that we had maybe known over there in India, and we got cross feed between the 492nd and 436 at one base, and the 492nd and the 9th at our base, and over the years.
Right.
And we ran into several people that we knew there at the Panda and at Discord. And they had our last reunion at Dulles Air Force Base, which is the 7th Bomb Wing, 9th Bomb Squadron today, flying B-1Bs. They closed up the 7th Bomb Group at Carswell in Fort Worth after the B-52s, and then we had a 4-star general who was in the 7th during the war as a lieutenant of guard, and he must have pulled a few strings and they reactivated the wing at Dulles.
Okay.
So it's the oldest continuous bomb group squadron, goes clear back to World War I.
You know, I just got finished reading, there's a book by Robert Dorr, it's about the 7th Bomb Group and Bomb Wing, and that's what it says. The history all the way from 1918, early at World War I, all the way through. I think that book was published in 95 or 96. So yeah, it's pretty impressive to find out that it's been around. You know, they call it I think they called it the first and the last, because they were the first over in China, India, and the last to leave.
It's resistant.